Hi, and welcome to week 7 of the Idea Book Challenge. I don't have any images of week 6 that Rhonda did because I'm having to record a few extra videos ahead because I'm headed out next week for a 3-week-long vacation with my grandson. So today's project for our Idea Book Challenge is using popsicle sticks, craft sticks, tongue depressors, whatever you want to call them. I kind of think they all work. I just did a little bit of a cluster on here, a little bit of collage. I put a paper clip on the back so you can paper clip it to a book on the cover, inside, use it as a bookmark. It's pretty easy to do. So this is the one I used and made as a sample just for today. I used the inks and just used my messy little sponge and inked it. You could paint it. You can leave it plain. This one I just stamped in, I think, walnut stain, and then distressed the edges, and I like it. It's probably my favorite. You can plainly stamp them. This is one of my very favorite stamps, and I'd kind of forgotten about it. Just dug it out for this project. I just stamp this and then color it, or color it and then stamp it. This one I did with just the blue inks. It ran a little bit. I was too impatient and didn't get to it right away. But that's okay, because our elements are going to be on top of that. And the back is just plain. And then I have this one here that is stamped and dyed on both colors. And again, I just used an ink pad. I used a multicolor ink pad. Did multicolors because I love colors. So that's just some of the ways just to do that. Another thing is you can take your popsicle sticks, and I'm just going to do it right here on the paper. And yeah, I'm getting way more than I need. And I'm just going to stick it on here. And if you wanted to bring it around and do both sides, you know, like that, that's great. And if you didn't, that's great too. So I'm just going to tear this loose because I want to show you my favorite way when papers are on the edge like that, which I'm not sure we had enough glue to get all the way over there, but I guess we do. So when you've done this, you can get your scissors and cut. I find that's just as much trouble as anything. So I had my special little tool out here and I don't see it. Oh, there it is. There it is. Now see, I don't know if you can see all my messes around me, but they're organized messes. I know what's there most of the time. So this is my favorite thing. I just take an emery board and go around that. I do this with book pages. You know, not just wooden shapes, although wooden shapes it's really easy on. And there, it's all nice and neat. It's got that little bit of a grunge look because, you know, it's sanded off. It's not cut off. But it's very smooth. It's right up to the wood. And, you know, it's just, I don't know. To me, it's the easiest thing to do. And it really isn't time consuming. And unless you've got really long fingernails, you don't mess up your fingernails either. Even though I hit mine quite frequently. So it's ready to go. If you want to get your inks and distress it a little bit, that's quite easy to do. Just, you know, distress it. And now it's ready to go. So now we're going to decorate it. I also have one that I just gessoed roughly, so I can paint on it also. If you make clusters and you already have one, you could easily just add a cluster to it, glue that on, be done. This one here, that's what I did here, was just glued a cluster. I thought it needed just a little more color, so I added these little snippets. And then I think it needs some beads, so I'm gonna, or buttons, not beads. So I'm gonna dump some buttons out of my little boot jar. And I'll just glue on a quick little button. The glue I'm using is Fabri-Tac. It's in a different bottle because the bottle broke on me, so I had to put it in something else because I got tired of wasting it. So there we go. Simple little thing. Now to do a paper clip on the back, get us out a paper clip. Because this is quite large, you can take any scrap of paper that, you know, coordinates with this. We'll use this little piece of the check here. And I'm gonna put the paper clip on it, like this. Now let's turn this so that we see the writing. If we're gonna use a piece of something old, we might as well enjoy what we see. And I'm gonna use the Fabri-Tac glue. I really need to thin this out. Any type of glue would probably work. I just like the fast working of this one. And I'm going to put quite a bit of glue on there for the paper clip. And I'm just going to glue, I'll get the writing upside down. That's okay. I'm going to glue it on there and push it down and make sure it's on there well. Anything that overlaps still looks like part of the cluster. There you go. Ready to put on a book. Of course, you want to let the glue dry a little bit. So we are back to the one I just used the paper on and ink the edges a little bit. And I'm not being real careful about the edges. So let's put one together as soon as I clean up my glue mess. Okay, so I had picked out a few things that I kind of like together, and I'm going to start off with a little piece of lace. I'm just going to put some glue down and start off with my little bit of lace. Yes, I wear my glue well. And then I thought this little piece of a ticket was cool, so I'm just going to put a little glue. You probably wouldn't need a whole lot of glue because it does come through the lace, but it doesn't hurt to put a little extra. And then I had some of this rusted fabric I have, and I'm just going to make sure it's frayed up a little bit and a little stringy. And I'll put it down. And I love this ribbon, and actually the way it fell off of when I cut it, that's how it was shaped. So I'm going to kind of do that because I like the long look of it, the way it wrinkles and holds its place there. And just to be sure, add a little extra glue there. And so you don't always see everything, but a little bit of it, and that's okay because it just makes it pretty. And so let's add a little bit of color with this cute little ticket. And there, we have it. Of course, we don't have to add a button. I just like that little added dimension that a button gives. And what I had in mind for this one, for the back in the paper clip, was a little bit different. I was going to use the lace again. And this lace is quite a bit larger than the paper clip, so I was just going to fold this and put it on there. And you will see your paper clip through this, but you know, it's okay. It just adds another layer and element. And this one I do want to, because it goes through the lace, I want to hold down this part and flip this up a little bit so it doesn't glue down. We can always redo that after the fact. And so now you've got a couple layers of lace. Basically, that's all there is to it. You could, if you wanted to and didn't want all that frou-frou on there, you could easily take just okay, we'll take this one we've already stamped on, and I'm gonna take some paper, and I like my glue stick when I'm just doing paper. And I'm just gonna glue this on real good. And do that. And I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it around because we might as well do both sides while we're at it. Burnish that a little bit. It's time for me to change my glue sheet. And I have this really cool Coca-Cola ticket. That's where the numbers came from on this one, was the Coca-Cola ticket. And I'm going to go ahead and use the whole top. I'm going to kind of put it on long ways so that maybe you can see it's Coca-Cola. Wrap it around the edges. And as you can see, we've almost got this whole thing covered. It shouldn't take any time. I have some tea-dyed paper that I made look like lace. And you know what? I don't think that's really going to go on there very well. It's a cardstock, and it's probably going to want to fight wrapping around. But we'll try it. We'll use a longer piece. That might help. So I'm just going to put this on there and wrap it around. It's kind of what I was afraid of. And I will burnish it. Anyone who's watched my videos knows I'm all about the glue stick and burnishing it. I don't know why, but it works great for me. And I have these little tickets here that I printed. So I think we're going to go ahead and trim it down just so it covers, you know, it's long enough. We'll go all the way around with it. Put some glue on it. Now, I probably could have scored this, but I'm just trying to whip through this real quick so you can, you know, get some cool ideas. And I'm just going to press it on there real good and then fold it around and press it real good. Rub all my extra glue and burnish. And now let's do a little bit of something to the back. Mostly because it's all real piecey. Not that that's a bad thing. This is just going to be smoothing it all up and making it all work together. Of course, I don't like the plain white part of that, so we're going to pull that off. Wrap it around a little bit. So I lost my Coca-Cola. That's okay. I think this is cool. So now I'm going to take my ink and just, you know, antique the edges a little bit. And actually, I picked up my brush for the black instead of the walnut ink, but I'm inking it in the walnut ink. So I kind of like that. It's kind of just a little bit different. So now that we've done that, and it is kind of sticky, it needs to dry. We're going to go ahead and put a paper clip on the back of it. And I think this time we will just trim one of these down a little bit. And I'll put the paper clip on there and the glue. It's about time for some new glue. But I hated to waste it. And I'm just going to put some glue on there, covering the paper clip. I'm pretty generous with the glue when it comes to the paper clips. And I'm just going to push it down on there and hold it down for a little bit. Or if you're not sure, you know, how well it's holding, there's always the clamps. So I can clamp one side, clamp the other side, and in just a couple minutes it's going to be dry enough. So that is our technique for this week, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you try it, and I hope you try something different. You know, just because I did them this way, I would love to see other people's, other colors, other ways of decorating the sticks, and just see what everybody comes up with, because it's really fun to see all the different ideas that people have. I have probably 5 journals any of these would go on, so and I think they'd make a great little gift too, especially if you give somebody a journal, even if it's just not one you made. You know, somebody's in the hospital and you take them a nice little thing to write in. Put this on the top of it. Makes a great little bookmark, and it's awesome for decoration. So that's it for today. I'll see you in 2 weeks.